stop them. Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What does that word mean? Could you please explain that for me? Because I really want to get this. I really want to understand what you're trying to teach me. And sir, I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Right? Manners, politeness. But all of these things come with grooming. Being able to read the animals in the jungle that you encounter. If you go around the snakes, then you should wear high boots.
Right.
And watch your feet. Watch tall trees, because they might, what you think is a branch might not actually be a branch. If you're going where you know that tigers are, then you need to pay attention. And if you see open land that looks clear, realize they can get to you, but they're pretty fast. And particularly if it's a cheetah. So when you're approaching these areas, you need to be conscious. So I'm walking in a school. This is not the hood. But these are people who are getting paid to give me information, and they're not doing it. So are they not doing it because they're incapable? Or are they not doing it because they're slighting me? And if they're slighting me, that means that they're stealing from me. Because I'm paying to go here to learn, and they're not giving me what I'm paying for. But am I to be stupid enough to allow that? Or am I going to make it? If somebody on the streets came and robbed me, yo son, give it up, what's up? Come on, you know what it is, running, right? If I come to you like that, you coming out your pocket, right? But now, what you going to do next? After, if he lets you live, you putting the word out, right? Yo, what's that dude named? Yeah, you know the kid I'm talking about, such and such, Bob. Right, yeah. He just jammed me down such and such. Right? So now you're going to get that back because he took something from you. But the same person will walk in the classroom and be punked by a teacher. Right? And they drop out. Why? Because they don't know this part of the jungle. But the whole point and the whole issue is for young people, we have to teach young people to become warriors. A warrior, and warriors are not, people think of fighters. First thing people think, yeah, be a warrior, you fight. You know, like Chris Rock was talking about, Michelle Obama. He's talking about a black woman can't be first lady. She can be president, but she can't be first lady. You know, he said when as soon as Barack went, this is before he won, he's gonna say, sweetheart, I won. No, we won. You know what I mean? So and I want my girl Keisha to be Secretary of Defense. She could fight. She could fight. You know what I mean? But it was funny. Chris Rock is funny. But we think in terms of being a warrior in terms of physically fighting. But the most valuable thing about a warrior is his strategy and his will to survive. Because at the end of the day, it's about survival. So the last thing I want to do is, if I get into a fight, that means I slipped up. Because I put myself in a position where the only way out is physical. But if I'm strategizing, I'm thinking way ahead. I don't even have to encounter that. Why? Because I've thought about it. I clearly thought about it. And that's what our young people do not have. And that's what we have to build in them. Even here, if they don't learn that before they get here, then in this community, in this room, these are the conversations that need to be had. Everyone in here is an educator and a teacher. I'm here, I'm talking to this group, and I do workshops not to hear myself talk, but because I'm trying to pass something to somebody else in the village. Because I can't reach everybody. I could put this on YouTube, there's no guarantee anybody's going to listen to it. If you talk to somebody, or if you get part of what I'm saying, maybe you can help somebody. Because at the end of the day, we losing. These kids are dropping like flies, right? And everybody is around Trayvon Martin, and then everybody's wearing a hoodie. And I went down to the rally a couple of weeks ago. I put my hoodie on and support. Why? Ordinarily, I wouldn't do that, you know, unless it called for. But I don't traditionally rock a hoodie. I rock a brand. This is what I do. You know what I mean? But For solidarity, I took my brim off, I threw my hoodie on. I see some folks down there my age. We down there I ran the Izzo down there. That's my man. Right? And Izzo was one of my students at Strawberry Mansion. So he got an overdose of this for years. But a lot of the older folks who were down there were saying a lot of the same things, but they weren't feeding the young people. And young people know when you're not feeding. Okay. So every opportunity I have to speak to young people, I'm trying to save a life. If I'm speaking to someone who's not young, I'm trying to pass something on to someone else so they can perhaps save a life. Not that you're not capable, don't have anything to offer, and if you do, I'm all ears myself. But there needs to be more of a village, less talk of a village, and more action of a village. Which means, if we understand the dynamics of this world that we live in, and this jungle that we live in, and we're more astute and careful about how we proceed, then perhaps we can produce a generation of young folks who are more analytical in the way they approach things, and more careful and cautious. Caution saves lives. We've developed and created generations of very brave fools. Right? I love him to death. I dedicated the last 25 years. He bear witness. I've been down there with him. I've been in the classroom. I've been in the hood. But I see a lot of them dying for no reason. They didn't have to die. Right? So when we don't prepare them for this jungle out here, in a sense we're contributing to it. And I thought about Trayvon Martin, and I thought about Emmett Till. Right? Emmett Till was visiting relatives in Mississippi. This was 1955, Mississippi. Right? No disrespect to his mom, but we got to learn from past experiences. Right? So a lot of this is because enough fathers are not there. So you send your child to the most racist state in the Union, in 1955, as a teenage black male. Right? You're in the vicinity of a white woman, whether he whistled or not, it didn't matter. Because once this white woman accused him of doing something, he was already tried and convicted. Right? So what was anybody else to do? It was done. And whether she said it or not, if people around perceived that, that's what it was. Now, here we are, fast forward to 2012, and this kid is not the same scenario, but it's pretty much the same thing. This kid is out visiting his father at night. Okay? He got his hoodie on, but was that the best thing for him to do in that situation? Probably not. Should he have had the right to do it? Hell yeah. It was his right to wear a hoodie. Of course it is. But was he carefully, did anybody who saw Roots? You remember when Kunta was out trying to catch that chicken for his rites of passage? And he was out, it was a guinea hen. He was like, you saw him, he was like, I got him. You know, he had the trap, and he caught the bird in the trap, and then he heard these people coming. It was the slave catchers. They had a group of slaves. They were marching them through the jungle, right, through the wilderness. He hid. When he hid, he was so stunned that he had the bird in his hand, but he didn't hold it tight, and the bird flew out. And then one trapper turned around and looked and came back, and he shot and killed the bird. And then when they left, Kunta ran all the way back to the village, and without the bird, and the guy who was overseeing the rites of passage stepped out, and he said, Kunta Kinte. He pushed through everybody, stopped the drums and everything. are you to be a boy, remain a child? Did you not forget what your task was? Are you to be remain a boy for the rest of your life? And he said, I saw white men. Right? His mind was blown. He saw white men, never before. And they instructed him after that. Kunta Kinte saw white men 2 days from where we are today. They said, stay away from tall bushes and trees. Right? They told him. They told all of the young men how to survive. How did he get caught up? Anybody remember how he got caught? His grandmother, Maya Angelou, played the grandmother, right? Told him, because his baby brother was beating on a pot or whatever that was, and she chastised him, and you think you're some big man now, you know, why don't you spend time with your brother? And then he said, do you think he would like a drum? And she said, I know he would like that. So he went out into the woods to cut down, you know, find a nice tree stump to cut down to make a drum for his little brother. Right? But they told him, stay away from tall trees and shrubs. So these are the men telling this black male how to survive in the jungle. He didn't listen. Now, did he have a right as a human being and an inhabitant, an indigenous inhabitant of Africa, to walk through the jungle and go cut down or create a drum for his brother? Of course he did. But the reality is, danger lurked. And we can never forget that fact and lose sight of the difference between what we have a right to and what makes sense to do. Because we can endanger ourselves, and if we're not here to talk about